Hi, it's Tom from bknutrition.com, and today I want to talk about the importance of consistency in making sure you achieve the results or the goals that you set yourself. Now, while this might sound like a bit obvious, as in, oh yes, you must do something consistently to get the results, it's quite often that this doesn't happen, and we quite often put ourselves onto programs which we know are going to be short-lived. And a prime example of this is 6-week shred diets or 12-week transformation programs. Or those are real good example of a lack of consistent approach. And a lot of these programs will focus on a restrictive diet, which again is not achievable, and maybe a heightened exercise program, which you're not going to be able to do for much longer than the 12 weeks. They package it all up into this 12 weeks. They have a Facebook group. They're on every morning shouting at you to do stuff. And you do it because during that time, you have accountability, and I've talked about the importance of having an accountability partner in other videos, that you have an accountability person shouting at you to get the stuff done. So you get up every day, you eat the food, because if you don't eat the food, you're going to get told off. And you go to the gym, because if you don't go to the gym, you get told off. And you do all these things. And then when you're coming towards, let's say it's a 6-week shred, you're coming towards week 5, and you think, God, it's only another week. Thank God for that. I can't wait for it to be over. Straight away, you're looking to the end. You're looking to the time when you can be released from this prison you're in. And most people do these sorts of diets, these sort of transformations in an attempt to lose weight for life. But the fact is that they're not doing this thing that they can do for life to accomplish this lifestyle goal or this life goal, and they know it's going to be short-lived. They know in their hearts that after they finish, they're going to go back onto eating the foods they ate before and not exercising as much. Some people, and this is the minority of people, will keep up the exercise, they will keep up the diet, but the problem is with these 6-week or 12-week transformations, it's not long enough to build the habit, the consistency, so that you do it automatically. And here's the thing, with the consistency comes from not thinking about what you're doing. So if you think back years and years ago to when you're trying to ride a bike or trying to learn how to drive or something like that, it took you a long time and a lot of repetitive actions to be able to get on the bike and ride it without falling off or needing stabilizers, or getting into the car and drive it without stalling it every 5 minutes and without driving very slowly because you thought you're going to crash into something. Those learned actions come as a result of thousands of iterations, repeated actions of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's exactly the same with dieting. If you're trying to lose weight, or if you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to do a workout program, or you're trying to improve your habits, so say stop smoking or something like that, you need to have consistency of action. And the problem with this 6-week transformation programs or these boot camps or whatever else, it is by design a very focused activity to get you doing something outside your comfort zone for a limited amount of time. It's not something you can do again and again and again, and you don't learn the habits fast enough because you need to have these hundreds of thousands of iterations of doing the same thing over and over again in order to get that end result where you're not even thinking about it. So for an example, I talk about in my practice living a leaner lifestyle, and what we try and instill in clients is to say, well, if you're coming to a situation, assess it and think about what would a leaner person do, or what would a more muscular person do, or whatever they're trying to accomplish. So for example, if they come to a choice between elevators and stairs, then person who is less body fat, who is leaner, who is fitter, decides to take the stairs, because it's probably only a couple of minutes extra on your day to go up the stairs. And by the time you've waited for the elevator, got in the elevator, combined with all loads of people, and then gone up probably the same time anyway, unless you're 50th floor, whatever. If you were going to shop in your local supermarket, a more fitter, leaner person would park across the car park and walk across, get the extra steps in, whereas someone who is not of that persuasion would drive around for an extra 10 minutes trying to find the perfect parking space, which is only 2 meters from the door, but actually you can't find that space, you end up going further away anyway and wasting your own time. These are all decisions that are made by your conscious mind, But what we want to do is get them installed in the subconscious mind. So what we do is we do those again and again and again. And now when I go to my local my supermarket, I always park the furthest away, because it's really easy to find a parking space and actually saves me time. I can get in and out very quickly. And if I'm going to a building with stairs, I always take the stairs, because while I'm going up the stairs, I can have a little think about my day or whatever, so I can actually focus on my mindset a bit more. I don't like sitting in a lift with a load of other people cramped in. So it actually benefits me to do that. And there's all these little things I do in my day which are focused towards making me a better person and doing the right thing, etc., etc. But you need to think about that yourself, as to what you're trying to accomplish. You need to think about, what would that person do in that situation who I'm trying to be. You're almost like trying to act into their body. So if you're trying to, say, adopt a person who is who goes to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, what would that person do? Would they have 4 sets of gym clothes already washed and ironed at the beginning of the week? Ironed? Maybe you don't iron your gym clothes, but washed and ready at the beginning of the week. And so all you have to do is in the morning, take out the next one, put it in your bag, and you're off, rather than, oh, I can't find my gym kit, and then deciding you're not going to go because you can't find it. So they would be prepared in order to go there. They might have their gym bag already. They might take a different route home so that they can get to the gym quicker, that sort of thing. So you've got to think about, if you want to have this consistency of action, and consistency is what brings change, is what you can do to make those things easier to do. Now, if you read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, it's one of my favorite books. I listen to it on Audible. I've also got the physical book. He talks about, when you're trying to make these changes, this consistency of change, if you want to change your habits, you've got to make the habit you're trying to do easier and more and easier to do and quicker to do, maybe, than the one that you're trying to counteract. So, for example, if you are trying to eat healthier, then something I do with clients is say, well, have a fruit bowl in your kitchen. Don't have a whole bowl full of chocolates, like celebrations like you have at Christmas. You have like chocolates all over the place in Christmas, don't you? So, in my household when I was young, we used to have like chocolates and crisps and stuff everywhere, because that's what you did at Christmas. You'd have loads of food everywhere so you could pick out. Now, nowadays we're more aware of sort of, health and fitness and obesity and those sorts of things. So what I say to clients is, have a fruit bowl in your kitchen, so that if you do walk past and you're a little bit hungry, you're more likely to pick up a bowl of a piece of fruit than you are to pick up a chocolate bar. And make sure the chocolate bar is up at the top of the cupboard, right at the back, so you actually have to get on a step ladder or something to go and get it. So you make the habits you want to accomplish easier to do and more accessible, and the ones that you're trying to stop harder to do and less accessible. That's how you start to bring around this consistency of change. And this brings us back to if you're doing the 6-week shred diet, it's not easy to get up at 4 a.m. every morning and do your cardio. But if that's what they're telling you to do, you probably will do it. But at the end of the 6 weeks, you will stop doing it because it was too cumbersome to do, unless you like getting up at 4 a.m. to do cardio. Okay. So also, if your diet is full of stuff that is say that if you don't like eating kale, but you've got to have a kale smoothie every morning, you probably would do it for the 6 weeks because that's what the diet calls for. But at the end of it, unless you've magically started liking kale, you'll ditch that straight away because it's not easy to do. It's not something you like doing. You'll go for something else instead. So it's not bringing consistency of action. All you're doing is making it a conscious action rather than a subconscious. And that's where we want to get to. We want to put the stuff we want to accomplish, we want to install it in the subconscious, so you do it without thinking. And you won't do that if you don't like the things you're doing. So this is why I don't do like things like 6-week diet shreds. I don't do limited time transformations. All my work is based around, right, we'll set the foundation with an 8-week program, and then we'll work after that to make sure that's installed for the future, for life. Because if you want to do a good habit, you want to do it for life. You don't want to do it for 6 weeks. You want to do it for life, because otherwise, after 6 weeks, you're going to go back into bad habits. So what's the point of spending the money doing the 6-week transformation? You spent money, lost weight, and then you've lost money because you gained the weight back again. So consistency of action, consistency of change, That is what you need to focus on. So you need to think about making your habits easier to do, more accessible to do, and also doing things that you like doing so that you can do them consistently, because no one likes being punched in the face. And if every time you do something which you're forced to do, you get punched in the face, eventually you're not going to do that thing. And that's the same for diets, it's the same for workouts, it's the same for habits you're trying to build. If it's always a punch in the face when you're trying to do those things, eventually you won't do them. You'll jack them in, and this is what happens with a lot of people on diets. They just stop doing it because they're sick of the hardship. So consistency of change is one of the big things to think about. Get the consistency, get it right so you can do it again and again and again and again. And eventually it becomes a habit. You don't even think about it. All of a sudden you're doing all these things. Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that, but now you are. And that's what we're trying to work for the perfect transformation. So I hope this video was helpful. Hope you got something new from it. Like, comment, share, whatever you want to do. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks.